Man, I'm back on that gutter shit you love, man. We back with another episode of MKZ the podcast, man. We at episode 7 now, fellas. We at
30 days
episode.
straight. We looking for.
Hey, we working. We grinding, man. We grinding. We just trying to continue to put out content for y'all, man. And like we always say at the end, at the beginning, in the description, everywhere. We appreciate all y'all for tuning in and showing love as you guys can. So, without a doubt, we're gonna get started with episode 7. First and foremost, we want to introduce special guest number 3 to the MKZ podcast. I know he goes by a few names. He goes by J Guapo. He goes by J, whatever y'all guap, whatever y'all want to call him. We got my good friend, my good friend J Guapo in the set today. Jay, how you feeling?
You feel me? I'm fucking blessed, man. I'm fucking blessed. I'm on motherfucking Miami Killzone, the Florida's podcast in the motherfucking world. We coming to fucking, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We
Respect
here.
it. Hey, we appreciate you, my boy. Thank you for joining us too. And matter of fact, while you're here, you're from Chicago, ain't it?
Chicago.
From Chicago, Illinois, born and raised. Okay, so how do we feel about your Bulls? They low-key could have stopped the NBA world's problems in this Miami Heat. How you feeling about how they let it slip in the play in, and how you just feeling about your Bulls to go forward? How you feeling?
To be fair, I'm not a huge Bulls fan. See, I'm a Bron fan, so but uh,
Respectable.
but I feel like the Heat beating them though was the best thing because I don't think the Bulls would have went far no way. Like they, because I feel like the Bucks probably max they would have beat them in 6. Um, and so I just don't think that they would have made the same noise as the Heat. So what I'm saying, the Heat are we're the better team to move forward and to make this fucking run. So
I
fuck the
respect it.
Bulls,
I respect
fuck
it.
the Heat is here.
I respect it. I respect it. Okay. Quick question. You think DeMar DeRozan is that guy, or it's time to move off? What you think?
He's that guy. He just needs to see. He's not a 3-point shooter, so he needs shooters like Zach. He's a shooter, but they need a guard who can shoot. And Vooch, he's decent, but I feel like they need to move from Vooch and just like fit more better pieces around Rosen.
Okay, I got you. As y'all can see, I'm just trying to give y'all a quick insight into the great takes that Mr. J Guapo is going to be sharing in today's episode. Appreciate you for joining us again today, Jay. As you can see by his hat, he's also a part of my frat. So just showing a little love, showing a little love as we go by. But I want to start with what we said we was going to start. Episode 7 for our podcast is going to be our questions of the day. So questions of the day are going to be quite varied, and they're going to be a bit different, different change of pace for what we usually talk about. But just for today's sake, we have to utilize the question of the day to talk about some of the biggest news that we're hearing in the NBA offseason right now, in that what's going on with LeBron and what's going on with Kyrie. We're hearing talks about one of the two being on the move in some way, shape, or form. Kyrie just recently dropped a bombshell, apparently, that he's now recruiting LeBron to start a new big three in Dallas. Like, how we feeling about it? Smack or Key? One of y'all jump in and tell me how y'all feel about just the whole rumblings we've been hearing about LeBron and Kyrie teaming back up. And would you rather see it in Dallas or LA?
You want to go? Or
Nah, you can take that one.
fuck that shit.
Yeah, make
No,
sure it's
LeBron not leaving LA, bro. Fuck that. I don't care what none of that. That makes no sense. Well, LeBron's unpredictable. We seen out throughout his career. We think he gonna stay in Cleveland. He go to LA. We think he gonna stay in Cleveland. Go to Miami. But he's old, and you could tell he's old. And then he gonna have to reset again. Go to Dallas. His family gonna have to be. His son been in LA for so long, bro. His son's going to USC. And I don't know what his contract is. Can you still only left on his contract? Is it a player cause for trading, or is it like
You know what? I don't.
I don't know?
I actually don't know the specifics on Braun's contract. I just kind of feel like it was just some news to throw into the air. Honestly, when I hear a
Yeah,
lot of these reports, a lot of times I be feeling bad for the guys, for these NBA guys, because I feel as though some of this shit be fake, bro. Like, who would have, like, why would Kyrie just open his mouth and just go to whoever dropped the report Yeah, I want Braun over here in Dallas. Like what? Like it's just the most random, just out of the ordinary
Yeah.
takes sometimes, and I don't know. But I mean, it's just some interesting news that we've been seeing on Twitter, we've been seeing on Instagram and stuff like that. How you? So I'm just trying to see how y'all feel about just the dynamic.
It's because what happened in the beginning, right? Didn't they? It's all about reports. Didn't the Dallas say that they didn't have a confirmed handshake with Kyrie or him going to the Dallas, right?
I heard about
That
that.
was
Yeah.
reported.
Hmm.
And then I think last week it showed Phil Handy. He's one of like the we call them people again. The coaches that helped
Trainer,
develop the trader, the develop player
okay.
coach for
Development
the
coach,
Lakers.
right?
He was seen with Kyrie, I think in LA. So I don't know what all going on. It's like you said, like people could be talking, just seeing everything, but we don't really know what's really going on.
Right.
And see, I heard there's a report that came up just yesterday saying the Lakers are not trying to even go for Kyrie in the offseason, and there's no sign of trade being done with D'Lo. Like we don't, I don't know. Like everything's just in the air right now. Everybody's talking about reports, but I honestly I don't know if LeBron it feels a young LeBron potentially,
Hmm.
but he 30, he can't play no defense. The Mavericks, no one on that can play defense. They have no bench.
Right.
If they combine all the play together, that's a lot of money. Like I don't see that being power. Like I think what you said, like I think it's just all talk at this point. Just everybody talking to try to start some drama.
Respect it. Respect it. Smack. What you think?
Yeah, I do think a little bit because Kyrie a private person, so like a report of him just saying or just leaking out that I want Brown to come over here. I mean, it could be true, but at the same time, knowing Kyrie, and plus he has said on his IG live earlier that he not really focused on his free agency or whatnot. He just take it day by day, and when the time comes, then he'll worry about that. But for now, he's just watching basketball and just trying to enjoy his life. So, and the idea of it, them joining together in the Mavericks. I mean, it'd be cool, having that three-headed duo. I mean, that triplet of Doncic, Braun, and Kyrie. But it's damn near impossible to get Braun over there. Like when it comes to assets, and just trying to trade him over there with a year left on his contract.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a lot of good points. I'm gonna be honest, as far as the fit is concerned, y'all know how I felt about Luca and how I still continue to this day feel about Luca. I feel like his play style is just it's very difficult to win with because being that you have players like him that have to have the ball in their hands and make up so much of their offense. It's kind of difficult to find the right mixture around those guys for it to work and in the way that it needs to work, especially in today's league. So I mean, it would be cool, but I don't know if I believe in it. So to our special guest, Jay Smack, what the fuck are you laughing about? You always
look,
laughing
you
about
making me laugh, bro.
man,
Bro, I heard people
y'all
playing
boy,
jumping.
y'all boy.
It was going in the background.
Right,
Your
you saw him looking over to the right? You seen that?
Yeah.
because they blowing shit up, but they still building that mall back there.
That's
Oh
hilarious.
I know,
shit.
I know, Dawg, I know you remember them
I remember,
rumblings.
hey, I remember them days, boy. I remember them days, boy. But hey, to our special guest Jay, being that you prefaced today's episode by saying you're a Bronze fan, um, do you like the fit with him, Doncic and Kyrie? Do you want to see him and Kyrie get back together? I know we've seen it work in the past, but like Smack said, this was and Smack and Key said, excuse me, this was a very that was a young Bron, that was a younger Bron than the Bron we see today. So how you feel about it being a diehard Bron fan?
Him like being in fucking Dallas, I don't think that's the best. Like that don't make sense since those are three ball dominant players and they don't cut. They don't they don't do no like hard movements to get open. So
Right.
it would be super duper fucking stagnant. And and then mind you that if they get Bron, then they are moving pieces out. So like Bullock is probably gone. Um, just lots of like pieces would be gone too. So then you would be bringing in some like just like some
Throwaway
fucking
guys.
people like some fucking yeah. So I just don't don't
Exactly.
don't think that makes sense. And it's just those players specifically don't cut and they don't play in defense, and so it's just dumb.
Yeah,
It wouldn't make sense.
I feel like it would be similar to well, Dallas has already fallen victim to it before in that they've lost guys like Jalen Brunson and other guys that were very solid pieces for their organization just off of wanting to move in different directions, which I could understand, but you got to understand that this league is not, to me, it's kind of flowing away from that super team era where you need three huge guys to win a championship, whereas now we're moving more towards how it used to be, where you have a nice little duo and maybe like a nice little pairing going on, but you gotta the emphasis has to be on the surrounding guys because the league is getting way too talented, it's way too deep in order for one or two guys to be able to do it themselves, and we saw it in Jokic in game 2, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But Key, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. I seen people complain a lot about those contracts, like those role players are getting 100 mil, 80, 90 mil. I think those contracts are important because they kill off those super teams that we see now.
Yep.
Like, you can't have a Kyrie, Luca, and LeBron if you want to have a great 3-and-D wing, a great center that could pass and shoot. They cost money too now, so you can't build a team like that no more. I think those contracts really help and fix that by the league, and I really enjoy that by the league because the super teams now that's kind of dead. Like two players, okay, but three, four guys that are superstar players, like come on, man, that's not entertaining no more, bro.
Yeah, it hasn't been working, and I know we've kind of been seeing drops in the ratings I've been hearing about from the NBA's perspective.
Yeah.
But I think this is better for basketball. Us all being
Mhm.
people that have come from basketball, us being fans of the game, and truly appreciate the game for what it is. We appreciate seeing the depth that goes with teams like the Miami Heat or the Denver Nuggets. We appreciate the flow away from the top heaviness that the league used to have back in the day. So I think it's good for the game, and I feel as though it wouldn't be a smart move for Dallas to try to put all their eggs in one basket and assume that it's gonna work out because even they're trading for Kyrie, them niggas didn't even make the playoffs. So it's a whole
Yeah.
it's craziness. It's craziness. But I mean that's a good intro to today's episode. I think the main thing, I think the best, the first place to start with today's episode, I gotta admit I was wrong. I have to admit I was wrong. I have to admit I was wrong. I opened my mouth last episode and I said Miami was gonna go down 2-0. I said Denver Nuggets was gonna come in and handle business, and I need to stop disrespecting my team like that because why would I not think that Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley and the Miami Heat culture that it is what it is would not come in and handle business for game 2 or at least make some sort of adjustment to make things work. It was a great game to watch. People guys stepped up on both teams. I feel as though Denver had his.
Your favorite guy,
You feel me?
your favorite guy
Come,
showed up.
hey, shut up, man. Fuck. It's still fuck Struce. I don't give a damn about Struce. I don't give a damn about. I don't give a damn about Struce. But nah, just talking about how game 2 went. How do you guys feel as though the game progressed, and what changes did you guys see from the happenings of game 1? Smack, you want to start?
Um, a change that I've seen, they went with a bit more zone. Like they played a lot more zone, and that really slowed down Jamal Murray and Jokic action, them dribble handoffs or the pick and rolls. Got them doing more isolation and one on ones.
Right.
And as we seen, Jokic drop like 41, but only had 4 assists, and everybody else, Murray, the most he only had 18. Everybody else was low tens or just single digits. So that was like a big adjustment. And I was watching another film breakdown of the game, and Spo's the biggest adjustment that he was pointing out is that Bam, like we seen early in the game, that Bam's getting like low post touches, trying to go like quick one on ones, and then in the second half he went away from that, and then had Bam we seen on the high post, on the elbows or top of the key running, and then they're running guard to guard actions with them screening for each other, and we seen Duncan Robinson get some layups and threes, Gabe Vincent layups and threes, so the fact that Spo was saving his best offense for the second half, that's risky, but it's just genius, damn near. Just a game of chess.
Right, it's risky, but Spo has been proven to be a guy that has kind of veered away from the norm in order to make things work for his team. So it was a pleasure to see the Miami Heat pick things up in the right direction for game 2. But it looks scary. It looks scary to begin with. Like I must be honest, Jay, how you felt just at the beginning of the game, being that what Denver almost had what close to I don't want to say a quick twin. No, Miami started off with the lead.
Yeah,
We had like a
Like,
10 point lead, and
what's the tempo? Yeah.
exactly, and at some point in time, we saw things kind of pull away in the other direction. Jay, how you feel like the game went?
So the first thing is that like Spo started Love and he didn't start Martin.
Mm,
So just that there, that like that more length and that bigger body for Yoke to think when like he's doing like post spins and post ups. Like he got to think now since that's Love, not Martin, just there. You know what I'm saying? So just that small thing there, I feel like made the Nuggets think more. Um, and then like just Max Strus coming out, and the thing about Max Strus is that like he's not skilled, but the way he cuts and gets like he cuts and then like he has a fast shot, so like he just puts lots of pressure on the Nuggets. Mind you that Michael Porter is not is like first off he's huge, but he's not a defender by no means. Like he's very bad at it, and so like just that pressure of Max Strus being able to sprint out, and then Vincent, like both of them do like similar, like they like cut hard and shit like that. So just putting them in the starting lineup to set that pace first, and then Love to be there on the defensive for Jokic was just huge. So
Yeah.
like for start off, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I feel like the main thing that you pointed out, which was something that, I saw some guys in the media calling for after game one, and it proved to work in the Heat's favor in game two. That change to a bigger lineup, that bringing in of that veteran and Kevin Love, who has been a guy that, has been there before, multiple times at that. That experience coming in. I know people have been saying, yeah, he's on the back end of his career. He's older. He's slow. It might not work in the Heat's benefit. But you got to realize, at the end of the day, basketball is basketball. I seen a recent quote from Jokic, not a recent quote, but a quote about him and why he chose to forego college or not come to the States to play college basketball. And he said something along the lines of, the guys are just too fast. They move too quick. They jump too high. I just play basketball. And he's being honest about that, because at the end of the day, yes, the athleticism and all those things can work in your favor and can be beneficial if utilized correctly. But the guys that know how to play the game are the guys that know how to play the game. And the guys that's gonna come out here and, methodically pick and choose their movements are the guys that's gonna inevitably draw that same success as we see from guys like Yoke. So that change was huge. And Strus, I've been talking shit about Strus for the longest. Everybody know, if you know me, I don't like Strus, but I'm glad to see him come back in the right direction. And you instead of using the terrible shooting night of game one to deter him and pull him down, he was able to excel. He had what, like 11 in like what, first half. He was doing exactly what he needed to do. That's a great bounce back, and I think that's the confidence he needs to bring back into Miami. Key, how you feel about game two?
Shooters started making their shots. Everybody made their shots. We saw Strus come off hot. My ticket hit, by the way, everybody. Well, it didn't hit, but Strus hit for me though. My dog Strus. He did his thing.
That prize pick will get you every time. I already
know. He gonna get you. He did his thing. And I was what I said from last podcast kind of happened, and it was split because I was iffy on the Kevin Love start because I thought it wasn't going to work as much with him guarding someone like Aaron Gordon. I feel like Aaron Gordon's he's big and he's quicker than Kevin Love. But what they did was they put Kevin Love on Jokic, and like I was asking, they put Bam as a help defender. So, and one thing we didn't notice too is that Jokic had four, but he also had 5 turnovers. We never see that with Jokic before.
Yep.
Never get more turnovers than assists. I think that was because Cody Zeller also guarding him. He was playing like boo boo, but Cody Zeller was guarding him. Kevin Love was guarding him. Other dudes was guarding him while Bam was helping off. And Bam has long arms. He's great to react off the passes and get steals off Jokic. And Jokic said, "Okay, I'm set the passing was going to score more." And one thing about that, I kind of said in the group chat earlier when we was watching the game in our little group chat how like we need Jokic to score more because it helps them play bad. I don't know if y'all seen that interview with Eric Spoelstra. He was talking to that lady. He was like, "Oh, people who say that have the untrained eye. Like that is a bad take. We don't want the ball in his hand at all." And like I get where Spoelstra's coming from, but like I feel like that offense just flows 10 times better with Jokic getting maybe 26, 27 points and him getting like 5 or 6 offensive rebounds and him getting like 10 or 11 assists. Right. Because Jamal Murray will get his. He just had a bad game. But Michael Porter, Bruce Brown, Aaron Gordon, them boys, they weren't getting the ball as much, and they're not really shot creators. They're more of like off-ball movement. That's how they played Nuggets basketball. And with Jokic scoring that much and not giving the ball up that much, It kept him close in the game, but it doesn't win in the game. And I feel like I wish Eric Spoelstra was here so I could ask him like I understand like Jokic getting 40 is not good for your team to play against, but him getting 40 kind of helps them better on defense. I feel like I don't know.
Right.
It sounds dumb, but I'm curious how he thinks about that.
No, I get what you're saying, honestly, and it goes back to the discussion that we just had a bit earlier when we were talking about the value of these role players.
Yeah,
Last episode, I emphasized how important Bruce Brown was. Guys like Bruce Brown, you got guys like KCP, guys like I know Michael Porter has become that third
Christian
option.
Brown too.
Right, right, right. He's become that third option in Denver, but it's important that the level of play with your role playing guys can be elevated in order for them to assist. Take some of the load off the back end, off the your main guys. So I know Spoelstra was very very negative or very harsh towards that take of is the recipe letting Jokic get his and trying to lock down everybody else. But at the end of the day, one, it worked. As we seen, they won the game. And two, Jokic, like, let's be real. Scoring to me in basketball, I love scoring, and but like me being the player two times, he would not consider himself a predominant scorer because I appreciate everything else that goes into the game. I'm not gonna be the guy that's gonna force up a shot over two when I know I can make the extra play or at least boost the confidence in my guys in the corner or my guys cut into the basket. Like, hey, listen, I could get mine, but I got trust in you to get yours. Even if it don't work out, that's boosting their confidence. That's boosting their level of play. You know what I'm saying? So when you're able to slow that down and you're able to have the focus on, yeah, Jokic is gonna get his. The best guys are gonna get theirs regardless. So if you can kind of slow down everybody else, I truly do feel like that's the recipe for this Denver Nuggets team, and it's something that goes undervalued. And when you have guys like Michael Porter, who had what, 5 points?
He had 5 points.
He had five
yeah.
points.
I
How much did KCP had what?
Pope has
think
six
he
points.
He has 6
6 points.
points. You see, like when you're able to slow down these guys that have been giving you a solid 15, and in Michael Porter's case, a cool 20, 22 a night. When you're able to slow these guys down and have them continue to shoot this poorly, it works in the benefit of your team. So, Jay, what do you feel like as far as just defending Jokic? Because we know what Jokic is. Jokic is gonna get his numbers every single time he steps on the floor. But as we've seen, they're winning. They matter of fact, I believe I heard a stat where in the games that Jokic has dropped 40 this playoffs, I believe they're like 0-3. So it's kind of showing face what the deal is with Yoke. So how do you think you handle Yoke, and how do you feel like the Heat kind of adjusted to that? Let the main guy get his, but let's make sure that we're airtight on everybody else.
Yeah, so Yoke, mind you, he had 41, but he was minus though. Like the whole Denver starting lineup, they were minus,
Right.
and the whole Heat lineup were plus.
Mhm.
So he did really, really good. And Zeller, he got fucked up. He was getting messed up so bad.
Hey, one of
But
our homeboys
just
hates Cody Zeller, bro. Whenever he step on the
I
court.
said this last episode, strip him of his minutes.
Shout out EP.
please.
Shout out EP. I know EP
no,
hates
but you
Cody Zeller. But say what you about
no,
to
but
say.
you need to play him though. Like he gon' he's not he sucks, but he gonna play hard as hell, and like he gonna try his best to put his hands up, body you. So just putting more bodies on Yoke and more big bodies just to make him tired throughout the you know what I'm saying, like by the fourth he should be tired if you throwing Zeller, Love,
Yep.
Bam, Butler, just making him work and think. So they did good, but they need to do better though, because he still had 41. Regardless, like they did good, but he still had a 40 ball. But Porter had 5, Pope had 6, and Bruce Brown had uh 11. So
Mm.
you know what I'm saying, they did the best that they could. But moving forward, I think that they should stay with the making Bam the help and putting Love and Cody on on Yo.
Exactly, and that's exactly what Key was just pointing out. In that Bam, he has the athleticism, he has the defensive prowess. Because let's not forget, he's been what in that defensive player of the year discussion for the last what 3 to 4 years now. Like he has solidified himself as a solid defender in this league. So him coming on the backside instead of being that focal point guy for a lot of these defensive possessions has one allowed him to take a little bit of a rest on the defensive end, being that we've asked him to do so much more on the offensive end, especially this series. Like what he played 40 minutes the other night. He had 21 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists on 57% shooting. So you can see he's been playing well in this series, first 2 games, but you can see what the change does as far as his impact on the rest of the game. Key, you want to say something?
Oh shit. I did. Well, I kind of do. I'm peeping how the help defense, how hard it plays. I don't know if you remember, Dow, but we had like an argument a couple of years ago about the Giannis versus the KD Brooklyn Nets and how they had that close game,
Right, right.
and how we was talking about like Giannis. I still feel like Giannis should have guarded KD on that last shot instead of PJ Tucker. I think that should have been over if he did that instead of him play help defense. But I do now see more why the help defender, especially someone like a Giannis, someone like a Bam, or someone like a JJJ or something like that, playing help defense and how they could get blocks, get steals, and like they're long, they're athletic. It's really effective, and I feel like that would be the key against this Nuggets team because Jokic likes to get these passes off. And I'm not saying Jokic is going to get a turnover every time, but at least you can have someone that can close out on these shooters and disrupt the shooters. Because once Jokic gets the ball out of his hand, there's nothing he could do anymore. And I feel like Jokic is the peak mountain of this whole offense, and he's relying on others, which they always come through for sure. But if you disrupt those others, it's going to make it hard for them to score. And I feel like teams are doing that for like LeBron James for years, and people have been complaining about LeBron. Why you keep passing the ball to the open shooter at the last second of the game? We want you to take it because if your last person doesn't make that shot, you just LeBron James. We need you to make that shot, and the Jokic has to get that treatment too. I feel like, but we can't leave those guys open because they will knock it down. So
Exactly,
uh,
exactly, exactly. It
yeah,
goes to that to that same point that we've been saying. Like, you know, we understand the talent of these guys. There's certain guys in this league that are just once in a lifetime players. You got Jokic, you got Bron, you got Giannis, KD, guys like that. It's very little that anybody on this earth could do as far as slowing them down. But if you allow the impact that they have for the rest of the team to at least be somewhat minimized in some way, shape, or form, I feel like it's beneficial to the team. Now that we're on the topic of some of the big guys, I kind of want to segue towards a quick conversation about Jimmy Butler. Um, Jimmy Butler played another 40 minutes. He had 21, 4, and and 9 assists. So he tried to get it done a bit more on the distribution side of things, but he shot a kind of poor 36.8% from the field. So how are we feeling just about Jimmy Butler and the production that he's been putting out? I kind of want to start on this topic, being that I've been kind of hit or miss with Jimmy as far as my takes have been concerned. Um, we know the talent that Jimmy Butler is, and he's been proving that all playoffs for the most part. But in the second half of that Boston series, and I feel like now at the beginning of this Denver Nuggets series, and I understand. I'm hearing that his father might be going through it, some issues. Our MKZ's prayers are with his father, and I know he's been playing a crazy amount of minutes. So the case of fatigue does have to be something you take into account. But when you're that guy, I feel like everything should damn near run through you. I'm not saying everything. I know that's not very feasible, but from the perspective of like him having that say and him demanding the ball and him trying to make the play most times, I feel like lately we haven't really been seeing that out of Jimmy. I feel like he's been a bit more, reserved, and he has the right to be because, like Jay said earlier, you had guys like Martin, you had guy who played poorly last game, but I'm hearing he's going through a sickness as well, so he might be feeling better coming up. But you got guys like Gabe Vincent, you got guys like Duncan Robinson, who we haven't spoken about, who was tremendous in game 2. You know, you got your role playing guys that are doing what they need to do. And I know he has the utmost faith in his guys, but this series is going to be a dogfight. And I feel like it's going to be one of those series about, you know, which star. At the end of the day, I feel like it's going to come down to which star can outwill the other. So, excuse me. With Jimmy, you know, he's playing a lot. He's doing a lot for our organization, for our team. But I feel as though we could ask a little bit more of him, and we're gonna need to ask a little bit more of him if we're gonna pull out this series against these very, very tough Denver Nuggets. Smack, talk to me about Jimmy Butler. I know that's one of your guys.
It might be the.
You're muted, dumbass.
It's funny because I didn't even. I said one thing. I was just like, but Jimmy, I felt. I don't want to say he's coasting because he would obviously we see he was a little bit more aggressive. He took 19 shots. He got to the free throw line, not as much as he usually do with 10 free throws a game, but 5 is okay. Um, I feel like he was just letting his guys just trying to really just letting his guys do his thing because he did finish the game out with 9 assists, so he was passing the ball a lot, and he was getting rewarded for it. Really, I just think for at least for this game, the guys stepped up, and he was just really trying to just feed into that confidence and really not trying to take away. Because late in the game, we seen he did have that clutch 3 in the corner, and he did hit some late game free throws. I feel like, but there was a lot more opportunities I seen for him to be a bit more aggressive, or at least to choose his shots a little better. And especially when attacking the drop coverage of Jokic, just trying to go at him and just being more aggressive in his jumpers or just getting right to his chest. But he was all right. Obviously, we expect more from him, especially from what he did in the Bucks series. Dropping 56 or just almost 30 a game. But it's hard to tell what's going on. To be honest with you, it's really hard to tell. He's getting good looks. He's not some shots he's not getting down, or he's just not just being aggressive. I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of times with these professional athletes, we get so used to them being what they are, right? Like being these guys that come out and go to work day in and day out, that we sometimes fail to realize that, they might be going through their own things on the side. They're human beings at the end of the day. And, they might be having their own things that might be contributing to certain inefficiencies or certain, slacks in certain departments. So I'm not saying that's the case with Jimmy, although I've heard it kind of may be. But, I'm just saying, in order for the Miami Heat, the severe underdog in this series, to win this series, they're going to need output from a guy like JB. So we'll see how the rest of the series unfolds. But real quick before we move on just to the next topic that we wanted to talk about today, Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray had I would say a decent game. He had 18, 4, and 10. So he had a very solid game, and he kind of did what he had to do for his team. But it's not the Jamal Murray that we've been seeing of old, that bubble Murray that has been dominating these playoffs. So, Key, how you feel like Jamal Murray's impact on the game kind of slowed itself down the other day? And do you feel as though Jamal Murray needs to be that pivotal second option, sometimes first option for the Denver Nuggets if they're going to pull this series out like everybody expects them to?
Yeah, I feel like Jamal Murray. I don't know, he played he played against great defenses. So I don't know if what Miami's doing is disrupting him. It's interesting to see him because last game too. He was doing good last game, but I didn't feel that impact from Jamal Murray as I usually. You know what? No. I'm mad because these niggas against the Lakers was making everything, knocking down everything, shooting over people. They was making buckets. Now they watered down. Bro, you remember I said when I said that I feel like they were so hyped to beat the Lakers because they lost Lakers in 2020.
Yeah.
That's what it's looking like right now, bro. They not playing with that same energy they've been playing with this whole playoffs.
Yeah, even game one, we saw Mike Malone go to the presser, and I know Mike Malone has been one to. I feel like he's kind of trying to make a character, a name for himself in the media. If I'm being honest,
bro.
He's just saying whatever. But he had some merit in saying, excuse me, they haven't shot well this series at all. They haven't shot too well. Even game one that we lost, it wasn't the best performance that we've seen from these Denver Nuggets. So, it's something going on with the rest of the guys that they need to clean up if they want to actually handle business.
Yeah, bro, and the drop handoffs that they be doing with him and on Jokic, I guess it hasn't been working because they've been really crowding him. I see a lot more like they crowd the hell out of Jamal Murray,
Yeah.
and I think that's what also leaves Jokic easier for him to score because once they crowd him, he gets down on Jokic, and then Jokic could just easily go and score on whoever guarding him. So it's hard for him to put up shots. A lot of his shots that we've seen him put up are crazy shots, and you can't rely on those shots. You need some good open shots, some good flowing basketball, and that's not happening for him.
Right.
So maybe that's what's going on. But I know one thing about Jamal Murray. Always been about Jamal Murray. When his back against the wall, he climbed over that wall backwards. Like
Oh
he
yeah,
always, yeah.
he been doing that since
So
college. He been doing that since
since
college.
yeah, exactly. So with him going into Miami, with them like they lost last game, the morale is a little bit low. They probably think like that we could actually be beaten now. Because I think that's their first loss at home since what March, right?
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yes, that's been their first home loss since March. That's months ago. That's crazy to think about.
So I think
That's
Jamal Murray
insane.
is gonna. It is insane, Jay, for sure. Like I think he's gonna be the guy that, like you said, he's gonna step up and be probably potentially option number one next game. I might put him in my points and price picks. Let me see. Uh,
I
hopefully,
respect it.
I think he's going because he has no choice but to do that now. Because the way they've been winning, he's been averaging 27 points in the playoffs. He has to continue to do that.
Yeah.
Same thing that we feel about Jimmy Butler is he got to do the same thing for him because Jokic is going to do Jokic.
Yep.
So
Yep. I agree.
and everybody has to step it up. But I think you think maybe the players around him also help him out, like Michael Porter, KCP, them scoring. You think that also helps him out too?
I have a take, but I'll let Jay answer that question.
Yeah,
I feel like he got something to say about that.
Well,
Cause I do feel like I do
first
I
off,
do feel like I do feel like that key. But go ahead, Jay.
for well, first off, for the Butler point, I just feel like you can't ask for much more of Butler because of the he played like his impact on defense is just so you can't like quantify it because like he's playing hard every single minute and he's a smart defensive player and it's just like he's putting so much out on both ends like you can't ask for more of him. Like he's doing like you could say like hit more shots, but like he's shooting decent shots. Like he's attacking. He's playing defense on mind you players who are bigger than him. Uh, Michael Porter, um, KCP. He not bigger, but like he moves he be moving, and so him, Michael Porter, Jeff Green, like these are big dudes who can move, who can shoot, and he's been locking them down. So you can't ask for much more of Butler. Um, but for the but for the Murray point, I feel like definitely him with Pope and then Porter just spacing the flow out, knowing that those both when they're hot, those are knockdown shooters. Just knowing that people can't like help it as much, and Murray, he's a shot like he gon' you know what I'm saying. So like just that spacing is just um in giving Murray the space to do the things he been doing. So definitely those two players specifically Pope and Porter spacing that floor out who can shoot is just making it better for him to move around and stuff like that.
Yeah, those
For sure.
guys, those are the guys that need to produce in order for him to shine the way that he's been shining. We're seeing, like we detailed the terrible games of MPJ and KCP. Those are games that, let's be honest, they can't afford to have against this Heat team, especially this series. Like you're playing for all the marbles right now. This is the NBA Finals, the NBA fucking Finals. Like Jeff Green was talking about in his presser. Like this is it. This is it. This is the end all be all. So for guys like MPJ, we're seeing him not hitting shots and he's allowing it to affect the rhythm of his entire game. He's no longer playing defense the way that he's been known to, block a couple shots here and there. He's no longer sliding his feet, playing with that same energy. KCP, he's looking like Lakers KCP. I hate to do that for your Lakers fans, but he's not looking like the KCP that was balling for Denver. Like these guys are gonna be need. excuse me. These guys are gonna need to produce at the level in which they've been producing in order for this Denver Nuggets team to take it over the top. So with all that being said, I feel like we kind of touched about majority of everything in game two. I kind of just want to
Oh, I got
ask.
a quick question for
Oh,
y'all.
go ahead,
I want to.
go ahead, Smack.
So did y'all hear about from the Draymond podcast? Like Steve Kerr was like Jamal, like he's the head of the snake. So how do y'all feel about that statement from Steve Kerr?
He's right.
Oh, you think he's
I,
right?
I was just thinking it because the way the Nuggets play basketball, they like to pass it, motion, everything like that. But when it comes down to lock down on the possessions and actually get a bucket, Jokic is letting Murray play. And same thing with that Draymond Green podcast. On the last shot, I think they end off the first half of the first quarter. Murray was, I think first quarter, Murray was shooting, was like dribbling, and it was time, and Jokic was open for a three, and he's falling for it, and then he saw that Murray was going to pass him, so he like backed off, and like Murray was dribbling, do that create, he pulled up with a step back three, and he missed it. Jokic wasn't mad, he wasn't angry, he wasn't slouching. He said, "Damn, and he missed it. Damn, he was supposed to hit it." And that's what something that Draymond Green pointed out. Like that shows that, like for sure, they rely on him to score. I feel like he's that top guy for them, like I said, and he has to score, but they also have to help him out to make it easy for him to score.
Right. It's interesting. I feel like because you know I'm actually going to take a point a bit different than what you just pointed out. I feel like I kind of disagree with that statement, only because I feel as though what kind of props him as the head of the snake that it looks like from the outside looking in is the fact that, let's face it, he plays the most. Excuse me, damn, bro, my throat going crazy. Like, pause.
Hey, yo.
Pause. I know you're about to say something. Yo, everybody vibe out. I know you. my sinus is acting up today. Y'all chill the fuck out. Fuck y'all. But nah. It's like you can't even say the word throat these days without anybody saying pause. Like, what's going on? Like, what's really going on, bro? Like, whatever. Fuck y'all. Hey, fuck y'all, bro. But not. But nah, I feel like what helps as far as it's seeming like Jamal Murray is that head of the snake, like you just pointed out, is the fact that he plays one of the two most important positions in all of sports, the point guard position, the quarterback for in damn football. I feel like those are two of the most important positions on any sporting level, and him having the ball in his hands the majority of the time, him initiating that offense. A lot of times it does depend on him and what the decisions he makes and the performances he puts out. But just from what we've seen from Yoke, as far as the usage is concerned, as far as just his overall impact on how everything else transpires throughout the game, I feel as though Jamal Murray's a close second, but I still feel like Jokic is the head of the snake, being that as we've detailed earlier, a game in which he's slower on, or he's a bit down on the distributing side of things, is a game that they don't produce the same time of production that they've been producing. So it's not really pushback to what you're saying, Key, but I just feel like just the whole usage side of things, because of him, I believe I seen a stat recently where his game, I want to say game one usage was like top 5 in NBA, like top 10. It's up there in NBA history as far as the finals is concerned. He, like, his numbers was up there with like those 2018 Cavs with LeBron, and when K Love and Kyrie went out. So like when you got somebody that has to that has the ball in their hands that much and has to be such a pivotal role to the offensive scheme for that team, I kind of feel as though the train kind of runs with him. And Jamal Murray, a lot of times they can alternate back and forth, but I feel as though what Murray lacks some games, Yoke has the skill set and the potential to pick up on the back end. So that's what I feel about Yoke. Jay, what you think? Who you think heads the monster over there in Denver?
I think it's definitely Yoke, because say you swapped Bam for Yoke for the Nuggets, they would not be there, like, or probably have not gone that far. Like, I just feel like Yoke's passing ability, his playmaking, his shot making, since, mind you, the Lakers, like, that shot over that, like, step back three, like, that was like you can't find that in no other big man but him, like to just make that shot. So I just feel like without Yoke, like rebounding, playmaking, defense at times, like he's just uncomparable to other big man. And you could swap out Murray for say like who's it
Like maybe a
like
Fox
Murray.
or somebody else.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like,
maybe a Fox, like, and then it can be that same thing. But if you swap out Yoke for say Bam, or Yoke for Brook Lopez, you're not getting that same impact. So
right.
definitely Yoke.
Yeah, I feel like, and that's not a slight on Jamal Murray at all. I feel as though everybody knows the player Jamal Murray has become, and we shouted him out last episode for being able to come back from the injuries in which he was dealing with to look like a better player than he was before the injuries. But just this league has been so recently just centered on having that guy in the post, having that guy down low to make sure shit is straight. I feel as though it's kind of harder to make up for that if it was any other way. So that's what I'll say. But that's a great question, Smack. What you think? You didn't share your insight.
I kind of agree. I kind of agree a little bit with Steve Kerr in the sense of Jokic gonna get his, as we've seen, a 40 point game. But the fact that Jamal only had 18, and obviously the rest of the guys, like Jokic wasn't able to like really involve the other guys, with his passing and stuff, and get them in a good rhythm and get them easy shots. It just kind of showed that like Jamal really is that shot creator. And plus, in the late game situation, really, I feel like more times than not, it's gonna go to Jamal because he's gonna be able to create. I feel like a better shot than Jokic, because Jokic, he's very crafty, but obviously as we've seen, he likes to bang down low. He's gonna be real physical, and obviously that could take time off the clock, and it's easy, like probably get a quick double team. Even though with his threat of his passing, you're probably not going to, but still, like when it comes to shot creating late in the game, I feel like really all Jokic got is really that step back three. Other than that, like anything else probably might take too long, and then it'll mess up, it'll fuck things up.
Okay.
And with Jamal, as we seen, he had that late game step back three. It looked good. Like we all thought, like damn, we just might be going into overtime, but he missed off the front of the rim, and the series is 1-1.
Hey, thank God he missed that shot, because I ain't gonna lie, when it was in the air, I thought that bit was wet. I thought he knocked that bit down. I was like, damn.
Because he hit three threes and brought him back real quick, and we were like, oh shit.
You feel me? He's one of them ones. He's one of them ones for real. I feel like it can go either way. They're both very, very, very solid guys. So, that's all that can really be said about them Denver Nuggets. I feel as though I can pose the next question to y'all, and it's something that has been gaining, recent traction, especially with their performance in these playoffs. Do we feel like, and Key, I want to start with you. Do we feel like Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the NBA right now?
I do think he's the best coach. This era of NBA coaches pisses me off, because there was literally a conversation that if Miami would have lost going up 3-0, they was going to potentially probably try to get rid of Eric Spoelstra. And I'm like, bro, I don't know. Like, he's been Miami Heat culture. Nobody could come in and do what he do for Miami Heat. Like, he's been doing it since Wade was, I would say, since Wade was legit. But since Wade was like in his rookie years, he's been at least assistant coach on that team. He knows what that team brings.
Yep.
So I don't think Miami is going to do that. But other teams that had coaches for years, I think Miami been that team for how long? What, 10 years?
Yeah, he has.
And they stuck with him. Like, he's been that guy. Greg Popovich has been that guy for his team for years. And it's like, if they don't be successful, it doesn't mean they're not great coaches. You know what I'm saying? So I've been pissed off about that. But to Eric Spoelstra, yeah, I think he is. I was having a little competition between him and Steve Kerr, because Steve Kerr has been great too. People think that, Steve Kerr just has Curry and them. I feel like what he was doing those prime years with the way he laid out the players and formation and stuff like that helps him out. But right now he kind of bugging lately. I ain't gonna hold you. So it's definitely Eric Spoelstra for me. I
Yeah.
think Eric Spoelstra is definitely the best coach. The way his confidence, the way he comes in and talk, like what he says at the podium after the game. I feel like it's nothing compared to what he said in the locker room. I
Yeah.
imagine you in the locker room that way Eric Spoelstra. Y'all
That nigga,
down 20 and a half.
that nigga going stupid.
Hey,
Yeah.
remember when he was trying to fight Dean Butler? And
Right.
you notice was like, yo, Jimmy, chill out, bro. Like,
Right.
Eric was like throwing chairs in that bit.
I'm telling you, he definitely got to screw loose, and you got to have a screw
Whoa.
loose to be able to coach this team. You do, like you do have to. So
Like, yeah, he's definitely number one for me. I don't care anybody say.
I respect that. I would second that motion. I agree with that statement that he is the best coach in the league currently. But I kind of want to just, to something that you said earlier, I kind of want to just change the tangent just a little bit, just to make sure MKZ speaks on this. We got to stop blaming the coaches for everything that's going wrong with these organizations. We have to stop blaming these coaches because what they did to Nick Nurse over in Toronto is just foul. And not even Nick Nurse.
For him, Eddie Johnson.
Yeah, Eddie Johnson. Like it's always some like they blame the coaches always.
Monty Williams.
Yeah, who the coach for the Bucks that they just got rid of, bro.
Mike Budenhauser.
Bro, Mike Budenhauser, or whatever.
But I can't even lie for that one, bro. Like Budenhauser, he's known for not making adjustments, and then like.
But still, he just
really,
won you a chip. I know we could say it's Giannis, but they just won the chip, bro. Like you can't even get this man 2-3 year grace period, bro.
No. But mind you though, that this team this time was much more loaded, I feel, and so they should have went further than they did too.
Right, but Giannis got
But they
injured.
didn't.
Like
Okay, but they were more loaded though. Like they had more depth.
so you think without
Him
Giannis,
being hurt,
they should have still
being
beat.
hurt should have had nothing on them beating the Heat. I feel the Heat itself, but because they lost to the Heat in 6, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's.
I think it was 5. I think.
It might have been. Yeah, it might have been even worse. You might have a point. Maybe the 5.
That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Because they won the one.
They won without Giannis.
Yeah.
Giannis, and they had Giannis the rest of the games, and so it's like, what adjustments are you making? And that's only for his case, but for the other coaches is true. But for Budenholzer, that's the only person I kind of disagree with.
Okay, I mean, I can respect that take. I still feel as though once you've done it in the grandest level, he won a chip. I feel like you winning a championship. This might be. Hey, maybe this is just ignorant for me to say, but I feel like you win a championship. It's so much that goes into winning a championship that we have to give these coaches more credit and at least like a 3 year. We can't give these niggas 3 years to get back. Like, can we chill and moving these coaches so quickly and blaming them for everything? Like Joe Mazzulla, for instance, over there in Boston. Even the players talking about, yeah, we kind of lost our heads with the whole coaching switch or whatever. No, y'all just didn't perform. We're not going to continue to blame these coaches because Joe Mazzulla stepped into that role, a role that's probably wasn't as, as promising and as positive as it looks like from the outside in. He steps into this role and he garners the same level of success that Boston has kind of been known for the past few years. So with a team like Boston, where you've had success with 3 different coaches now, you had success with Joe Mazzulla, you had success with Ime Udoka, you had success with Brad Stevens. Who are we blaming now? At some point in time, we got to blame these damn players. We cannot keep having the onus and the spotlight on these coaches, and whenever something goes wrong is, let's get the coach out of here, because if that's the case, then we should do that for the owners of a lot of these teams. And I know they got the bread, I know they got the money, but like you're fucking up. Why? Like the team is not here because of Michael Jordan. Get up out of here. Your team has been the worst team for a long time. You see what I'm saying? And I know he's on the process of selling the team too. I heard about. But like, yeah, like we can't keep blaming these coaches, man. And Eric Spoelstra, I mean, he's just another one where if I ever hear any rumblings, or like we were talking about right before we started recording, if I hear any rumblings of the Heat trying to do him dirty like they did Wade, or not wanting to give him whatever he wants, it's blasphemous, because that is what
he's burning that arena.
Yeah, we got to go riot, because bro, like he has earned this. He has earned his stay. He's earned his keep, and he's the best coach in the league, in my opinion. He's the best coach in the league. Jay, what you think?
I'm gonna have to go with Mike Brown. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay. He did win Coach of the Year. He did do very big things over there in Sacramento.
I just feel like with what he had, and mind you that they played they played fucking beautiful basketball versus the Warriors, and just to see them do that with what they had, like, and I know that they have Fox and Bonus, but they don't have much depth. They don't have much depth, and so for what they did, and they went third in the West, I think, and just like seeing like how much they fought versus the previous fucking champions just was something to see. And I feel like coaching that team with that depth is harder than what the Heat have. So I would definitely say, in my opinion, Mike Brown just he did a and mind you, the Heat, they were booty during the regular season. They were booty. They were not good, and so they're all in now, but before they weren't. So the Kings balled out for the whole season, and they played. They went to 7 with the reigning champions. So I just feel like Mike Brown just brought a lesser team to a further point for longer than the Heat.
Right. I can
Well,
respect.
not a further point, but like in the sense of making it to a better playoff standing. At first, they did better than the Heat, and Mike Brown had to have been the focal point for that because their depth lacked for sure.
I respect that statement. I respect that statement. And to be honest, like we did have a lot of Kings believers this year, and rightfully so, because we had people talking about light the beam and all this extra shit. They earned it, And Mike Brown, right? And Mike Brown was one of those. Mike Brown was one of those reasons. He came out there, and he's been a coach that has low key gotten the short end of the stick in some of his previous locations, just because of the situation that I feel like he's had. But he damn sure needs the respect he needs for what he did this year, if anything, because he took a team that, quite frankly, overachieved, to be honest, to a level that probably they would never see if he was not in that same predicament. So we got to give credit to Mike Brown. I'm still going with Spo though. Fuck that. He culture. That's my guy. Fuck everywhere. Everybody's saying Spo. That's the best coach in the league. I ain't trying to hear it. Smack, you can share your take real quick before we close things off with predictions for Game 3.
Man, I believe Coach Spo has been the best coach since damn near 2015, 2016.
Whoa.
People gotta realize the teams that we had.
That is
during
a hot
those-
take. That is a hot take. And we ain't do shit. You talking about the teams we had?
Like the teams that we had during those years, like we're damn near playoff teams with those. Some of them they made the playoffs, but obviously first round or second round exit. But when people got to think about it, since Poe been in the league, like the Heat have rarely ever been a lottery team. Literally, out of our 2 picks that we had, it's only Bam and Hero that we got from the lottery, and those are 2 years out of the many years Coach has been playing. We're a playoff team. We have deep runs, like. It's rarely every time we miss the playoffs. And then as we've seen, like everybody's been talking about these undrafted guys, these guys here, it's like these gems, Hassan Whiteside, Josh Richardson in the past, Coach Bo and his crew and his coaching staff, like they've been able to find these gems and players that people are like, dang, like where did he come from? Like I don't even know who this person is. Develop them well, give them confidence, help coach their game, and then look at them now. Like now, guys like Struz, Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent. Look at Hassan. Hassan got a huge contract. Those guys out here now, they're gonna get bags now in the league, and then now they have a lot of value to provide for other teams, and now could potentially start. And like without a coaching staff like Spo and his crew, they would have never had the chance or the opportunity and to be able to grow their game and instill a confidence and a culture within them. So personally, to me, like Mike Brown's been an amazing coach, Steve Kerr as well, and Greg Popovich. Those guys have been all great coaches. But I believe like Spo has had it for quite a while, especially with what he's had to deal with and what he's been able to foster up and build.
I agree. I must say, to one of your points that you just made, I didn't know who the hell Highsmith was until about early in the playoffs, mid playoffs. So they do have a thing of finding diamonds in other man's trash. So it's been a staple for the Miami Heat, and it's been a staple for a coach like Spo. And Although there's many other coaches that we can attest to, like Mike Brown, like Jay pointed out, who's definitely in the discussion. Greg Popovich has been in the discussion. Although recently his teams, I don't even know. Let's not really talk about Pop, but it's a great discussion for sure. But these coaches need more respect. They need more damn respect. I feel like.
Because they show their face during the playoffs when they need it most. When we see adjustments, like
Yep.
being able to see tendencies, be able to just try things, add new guys, try new lineups like that. That shit is huge in the playoffs, and I feel like people don't believe, and that's why they always sleep on us. I tell people like, okay, like yeah, this team is more talented. Like in the Bucks series, like I say, yeah, they got more talented guys, but we have the better coach. And as we seen, the better coach made the better adjustments and the better game plan, and look what happened. We
Yeah.
beat them in 5.
Preach, man.
But to be fair though, I feel like with Spo, he has two Pat Riley and just like his and Mike Brown does not. He didn't have that
True.
figure who's been there, done that, got that experience and that shit like that. And Spo does, and Spo has had that.
That is
So
a
I
spade.
do. So I do think about that in the thing too. As well.
That's a spade because yeah, Pat Riley. We know who Pat Riley is, and we know he's still that important to the Heat organization. And I wouldn't put it past him, although he might not say it publicly. I wouldn't put it past him hopping in the lab with them boys when it's time to make adjustments and it's time to figure things out. So he does have that Godfather behind him, showing him the ropes and teaching him a thing or two. So that is definitely a spade. But we're getting at about an hour of recording so far, so I think we can kind of try to close up with just our predictions for Game 3. What do we think is going to happen? What do we think, is going to go wrong? What do we think is going to go right? And who do we got winning the game? Money on the line. Who we got? I can start off on this one. That one. That. What happened? What happened? Nigga?
I'm sorry. Well, I was gonna say you said Nuggets won last game. So
Oh yeah, yes. I was wrong. So I have to do my due diligence and come here and get this shit right this time. So that one was huge for the Miami Heat, and I don't think people realize how big of a win that was for the overall course of this series, because from everything we've been hearing from one of our posts on our Instagram, if y'all don't follow our Instagram at Miami Killzone, what are you doing? But Miami has been doubted out since day one. And rightfully so. They were a play-in team. I'm not going to sit here and act like the Heat haven't shocked the world, because they have. And they deserve whatever credit is coming their way, but they're still, they're still suffering the ramifications of being the underdog and still being undervalued. So I feel like that Game 2 win was a shocker for the NBA world, and I feel like it was the perfect the right E that they need to take into the next, and bringing it back down into Miami. So Game 3 at the crib, I'm hearing Tyler Hero's probably not going to suit up. He's still not clear to perform, but I feel like that's more so because they won Game 2, being that they're a little bit less desperate, where it's a 1-1 series as opposed to 0-2, so we can hold off on Tyler Hero. But it's the momentum that they needed, and they're going to bring it to home, and I feel like they are going to take Game 3. I feel like the Heat are going to come out. Denver's going to make adjustments. I feel like Mike Malone needs his credit, because he be in the lab working with his team, but that momentum that the Heat just came out with, and I feel like they've kind of started to solve the Denver Nuggets even to the slightest degree. I feel as though they're going to come home and handle business. Now, the game is going to be very close, I feel like. I'm going to predict the game. Scoreboard's going to be, I'm going to say like 109, 112 in the Heat's favor. I'll say that. That's my score check for Game 3. It's still going to be very close, but I feel like Jimmy's going to come out there. Spoelstra is going to be able to combat whatever changes Mike Malone is going to throw at the Miami Heat, and inevitably, the terrible Heat crowd, the terrible Heat culture that everybody likes to speak about, I feel like that's all bullshit.
Yeah.
We're going to come out there with them pots and pans, and we're going to handle business. So I'm going with my Miami Heat for Game 3. What y'all think? Key, you want to go next?
I personally think the Heat got the Nuggets number.
Ooh.
I feel like I hate saying this because teams usually respond, or like, I've never seen Nuggets like this before. Every time they play, they dominate. Miami came in that bit, and even though the Nuggets did get a lead back, the Heat answered. And something that I've never seen this whole playoffs, the Nuggets didn't answer back. The Heat kept hitting them, hitting them. Again, the main thing that has to go down is these shooters have to make their
They
shots.
have to.
If they make their shots, I, I don't see Miami struggling that hard with them boys. Then again, Nuggets were hitting their shots; they weren't getting much opportunities. So let's see how both teams play at a high level. But I feel like Eric Spoelstra, he gonna come in that bit and change something up on him again. He might start Udonis Haslam. You'll be shocked. You don't know what's gonna happen next. We'll see what happens.
Hey, you. You never.
I was watching the game. I saw someone come in with this a hoodie on by the what's that shit called again? The bench. Well, before you come in the
The
game,
score table.
the score table, and I said, "Is that you, D?" Hell no.
Are we going that far? Are we going that far in the bag? Nah, I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think. That's funny though.
but I have Miami win this. Miami they were also undefeated until they lost those dumb games to the Boston Celtics. That game winner by freaking Derek White and shit. Miami were undefeated, but they also a really good, strong team at home. I think they come in, they kick the rock and they hit Nuggets knee really hard, and I think they're gonna take this game too. Let's see. Let's see if they play at high levels, both teams. I'll be very excited for finals. You want to say what the score would be? The last guy was pretty close.
You was pretty close with your last prediction. I got to give it to you.
So
I was closer though. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, sugar.
yeah, okay. Anyway, I think Miami keeps the lead this whole game, and Nuggets might come back answering towards the end like they did again. And I would say 118 to 110.
118 to 110. Okay. So you got them winning by 8.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm pretty sure Denver is 3-point favorites right now. So you have them completely blowing out Vegas.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
If you want to bet, use my prediction. If you want to bet.
that boy got some spades. Jay, what you think?
Michael Porter minus 15. Gordon minus 7. Jokic minus 11. Pope minus 14, and Murray minus 2. Mind you, with those shitty minuses, they still lost by 3. 3 points, and it came down to a bucket that had the Heat fans shitting their drawers. So I got Nuggets, but I feel like they don't need to make much changes. They just didn't shoot well. They didn't play well. They were minus, like their whole 5 were minus, and they still lost by 3. I just feel like they play better and they beat the Heat for sure.
Respectable.
That's my opinion.
Score check.
And I feel like they're gonna beat them by, not sure the score, but I would say by 4. By 4 points. So let's say 96 to 100 for sure.
Okay. So you got a low scoring game, defensive game for you in game 3.
Low scoring game, yeah. Defensive game.
Okay, for sure. I can respect that take. Thank you for bringing some different insight, because you know what McKinley's going to say already. We already know what Smack is going to say.
Yes. Again, like, my very close prediction last time, 110 to, 107, the score was like, 111, 108, so, real close. But it's another hard game because agreeing what Jay said, they always in minuses, guys weren't hitting, we're seeing KCP and Michael Porter, so they definitely should bring it, especially, I'm not sure if you guys seen the little post, I want to say post conference, but like the talk Mike Malone had with his team, I feel like they should come out with a lot better energy, and obviously KCP should clean up those fouls that he had late in the game, those dumb 3-point fouls that he gave us. But it's tough. I feel like I might be swinging towards a Heat blowout in this one. Only reason being because I know you guys seen the stat of altitude. They at 5,000 feet, and then we at 5 foot. below sea level. I mean, above sea level. So I feel like that altitude might swing in our favor. You know, they so high up. You know, when you come down to South Beach, you know that humidity ain't no joke. Especially when you're not used to playing from here. I mean, granted, they're inside, but you know, it ain't no joke coming from that high altitude. Coming now, you damn near right at the sea level. So I feel like that might play into our favor. You know, it might not matter, but I feel like that might. It should be another great game, though. You know, Spo and Mike Malone is going to be another chess match. It's going to be very interesting to see. I don't think Spo's going to do what he did last game and save his best offense for last, because that might be foolish and that might get us blown, maybe. But it should be another close game. I predict score to be, I think it might be on the lower scoring side again. I think I'll go with 105 to 100 Heat favor.
105 to 100. Okay. As you can see, your typical MKZ host. We still got our biases of the Miami Heat. Jay's probably the only one with some reasonable insight. I'm just joking, but you know, hey man, it's been a pleasure. This episode has been a pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you so much, J Guapo, for spending some time kicking it with us, having some conversation with the boys. Man, we appreciate having you. We look forward to the next time. And you know, it's been it's been a pleasure. My typical host. I say this every episode. Love y'all niggas, man. Same shit every day. Great work, great work. Key, we still can't hear your claps. I don't know what the fuck going on with your audio, boy. Your shit is grits. But hey, before we get out of here, I just want to pose one question again. I know niggas probably like, this nigga love questions. But just some a little different, a little lighthearted to see us out. Let's talk a little music. I'm gonna just pose a quick music question, okay? We've been seeing the recent beefs in the rap game. Out of these 3 artists, okay, you pick one and the rest discography gots to go. They never existed. Their music has never existed. Say goodbye. The 3 artists we got are Dirk, Youngboy. That's mainly them 2 because they've been beefing lately. But if I'm gonna throw a third in there, I'm gonna say G Herbo. What's everybody's choice on who stays and the other 2 gotta go? I know it's tough. It's tough, but who's...
it's easy for me.
Oh, it's easy for you?
Yeah.
Who's staying?
Herbo.
Okay, I respect that statement.
Young boy can get his ass out of here.
Yeah,
I feel like so everybody's saying Young Boy out of here. The Young Boy fans not gonna be able to not gonna fuck with that answer.
I ain't gonna lie. I probably staying with Young Boy. I can't even lie to you.
See, that's the problem right there. Get him out of here.
you fucking dangerous, my boy.
Exactly. Dangerous.
I ain't gonna lie. You know, I was around some of my boys and they some big Young Boy fans. Shout out to my boy Milan and Taru. But hey, them boys been putting me on. So like being around them for a whole season or 2, I can't even lie. I gotta stick with Young Boy.
You love some Young Boy now, huh? He sound like Sherrod, Johnny. Shout out Sherrod. Jay, who you taking?
I'm taking Dirk because I just feel like he got more music that appeals to different like emotions. Like he got some hard shit, he got some lover shit, he got some smooth shit, he got some shit that can appeal to all shits. And I feel like if you take away his music, you taking a lot of different aspects from music, and it would be tough.
Okay, I can respect that. And for those of y'all that didn't know, Jay is actually a artist. So Jay, if you want to shout out your rap name, whatever you want to shout out, show love to the people. I'm sure everybody gonna tune into your music.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm on Spotify, YouTube, all platforms, but J Guapo, that's the tag, and a few fucking names may pop up, but mine, I got a cover art with some wolves on it, so that's me. And yeah, shit, I make music and shit. Check me out for sure. for sure.
Most definitely. So as y'all see,
sure.
he knows what he's talking about. I kind of put my mouse on the screen just so y'all can see specifically how his name is written, but it's there right there.
Oh yeah,
Y'all,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, y'all show love and tune into my dog music. If I'm picking one, I'm gonna be real. I get what Jay's talking about from Dirk's perspective. I get what you're talking about from Young Boy's perspective, Smack, because they're both tremendous artists. But nothing's gonna ride like that G Herbo ride, bro. I'm sorry. I know it might be a lot of the music might sound the same. Some people say offbeat, but when that G Herbo sliding, that G Herbo is sliding, boy. Like I could be in that. We think you're head of nada, some towards the Carrera, some tomato. Like you feel me? Like I could be in that big grooving. You feel me? But I can respect Dirk and Young Boy's takes. I just wanted to throw a little tough question in there. But hey, like we said, this is episode 7. That's a wrap. Thank you so much, Johnny, once again for joining us, and everybody else for showing love. And yeah, it's been quite a journey, and we're gonna keep it pushing. This summer we're dropping episodes back to back. We're gonna be in this lab for real, man. We're trying to make something out of this. So appreciate y'all so much for tuning in, and that's it for NKZ Gang.